Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the session for Make Like Delorean with the U.S. Department of Energy Solar Decathlon Professionals Program. We have two fantastic speakers here for you today. We have Mr. Michael Young, he's the Technical Project Manager for National Renewable Energy Laboratory. Michael is a Technical Project Manager in NREL's Integrated Application Center, where he focuses on decarbonization strategies and workforce development initiatives for zero energy buildings. He supports the U.S. Department of Energy Solar Decathlon as the Build Challenge Competition Manager. And we also have Amanda Kirkaby. She's the Energy Engineer with National Renewable Energy Laboratory. Amanda Kirkaby is an Energy Engineer with the Applied Engineering Group in the Energy Security and Resilience Center at the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. She supports the U.S. Department of Energy Solar Decathlon Design Challenge as an assistant competition manager. And Amanda joined NREL in 2019 as a science undergraduate laboratory intern with the commercial building and building energy science groups and a research participant program intern with the Applied Engineering Group. Her interest in high performance buildings began with the 2018 Race to Zero competition, now known as the Solar Decathlon Design Challenge, in which she was part of the Middlebury undergraduate team that designed an award-winning zero energy elementary school. So give it up for our fantastic speakers, Amanda Kirkaby and Michael Young.
Great, thank you for that introduction. And with that, we'll get started. So today, Make Like a Delorean with the U.S. Department of Energy Solar Decathlon Professionals Program. We don't need any roads where we're going, just the Solar Decathlon. With that, we'll look a little bit at the learning objectives. So recognizing the impact of Solar Decathlon, areas of workforce development, as well as a reimagined building science curriculum and integrating zero energy design strategies and best practices in your own designs. To start off today, we want to outline what are barriers of adoption. We've been talking a bit this week, and a lot of people have been discussing kind of adoption of zero energy and high performance home strategies across the industry. And really, we identify three main barriers of adoption. One is consistent building education for future professionals. There's not a solid curriculum across universities out there that provides students with the skills they need to go into the workforce and apply solid fundamentals of building science. Second, misconceptions about high performance out there. So from clients and just the general public as well, of thinking it's high risk or high cost, and that fear of the unknown can be a high barrier of adoption, as well as adoption of high performance principles by currently practicing professionals. And we are going to talk today about how the Solar Decathlon is addressing these three barriers to adoption. So if you're not familiar, what is the Solar Decathlon? At its core, the U.S. Department of Energy Solar Decathlon is a collegiate competition comprising of 10 contests that challenges student teams across the world to design and build highly efficient, high performance, innovative, low carbon, powered by renewable energy buildings. And with that, there are two challenges. So there's the design challenge, which is a design-only annual competition, both residential and commercial divisions. So we have new housing, retrofit housing, and attached housing divisions, as well as multifamily, office, education buildings. So students are designing all types of buildings. And then the build challenge, which Michael is the competition manager for, is residential only, where students, it's a 2-year competition and they design the first year and then build the second year. So they actually build residential constructions locally and then compete nationally. And across these two challenges, all students compete in 10 contests. And these contests really are trying to get at challenging students to address all aspects of building design and a holistic approach, from architecture to engineering, market analysis, embodied environmental impact, integrated performance, comfort, and environmental equality, which we've been hearing a lot at this EMA Summit so far, and two, presentation and, of course, energy performance. And at its to provide students with the skills that they need to design and build in both of these challenges, we've developed a building science education curriculum. And it's developed by leading industry experts here at NREL to build a strong foundation of building science in our students, to help them learn the fundamentals of zero energy building design. A lot of these students come in and they know nothing about building. I can speak from that. I was a solar decathlete back in the day, and I knew nothing about building science or even starting to design a building. And the building science education is to address that and provide students with the skills they need to successfully compete. This building science education program isn't just for students, it's for everyone. So we have posted this on our website. It's available. You can go and watch in all these videos. And Michael will talk later how it's also applicable for current practicing professionals. Another part of the Solar Decathlon program is the Design Partners program. So this gets at that second barrier of adoption, but trying to break down those misconceptions about high performance in the building industry. So this program is to provide a low risk opportunity for building owners, cities, organizations to explore zero energy buildings. So if they have a planned project in their building portfolio, they can choose a team or work with a collegiate team to develop a zero energy design alternative and see really how that design can help them save money and improve their energy efficiency and health of their buildings. So through this experience, students gain real world design experience and the partners receive real world design solutions. So all in all, it's an opportunity to share zero energy best practices. You can see some of our partners and current projects that students may be working on our website, solardecathlon.gov. And with all these parts and pieces of Solar Decathlon, it really provides a value to industry. Students gain real world design experience. Going through this, they learn from world-class thought leaders. We bring in speakers to speak to the students at the end of their competition event. Developing critical career skills from technical system design to energy modeling, working with a multidisciplinary team, probably the most essential skill. Learning how to work through barriers, especially over this past year. We saw students competing fully virtual, not being able to talk to each other in person, meet in studios, and we really saw that resilience shine through our students. And really to drive innovation in the building industry. A lot of fresh new ideas come out of the Solar Decathlon, and it's always, I don't know if anybody attended the Pechacucha session yesterday with Rachel Romero, the Design Challenge competition manager, and our students from our winners of the Solar Decathlon Design Challenge. But seeing their designs is always inspiring and exciting to see how they're driving that innovation in the building industry. So really, with the Solar Decathlon, double click there, sorry about that, but building the next generation of building professionals. So they're creative, they're innovative, resilient, professional. They are going to be the next iteration of the building industry. And so at its core, we as Solar Decathlon are kind of like, you know, Doc Brown and Back to the Future, the theme of this conference, but bringing the fundamental skills needed to design real world zero energy buildings with the professionals of the future, really to transform the building industry. And with that, since the inauguration of the Solar Decathlon in 2002, building professionals have been coming out of this program, as well as programs like EBA, where we're sharing these ideas and everything across. And so we have more and more builders out there that are talking about these principles, but there's still a few that aren't And what do we do about these? What do we do about the practicing professionals? Maybe it's people that don't know how, and maybe it's people that don't know about the benefits of this. I think we're all starting to learn more about the embodied carbon, and that's becoming a good word that's thrown around the public space. But how do you actually go about this? And if you're a current practicing professional and you don't have access to competing in the Solar Decathlon as a student anymore, is all hope lost? No. And with that, I'll pass it over to Michael, and he's going to share about our Solar Decathlon Professionals Program.
Yeah, thanks, Amanda. So with the collegiate Solar Decathlon that Amanda talked about and described, with the build challenge and the design challenge, those for about 20 years have been a competition that's designed to challenge students and drive innovation, and get that incoming class of building professionals into the workforce with the right skills and the right knowledge. The Solar Decathlon Professionals Program is a new program that we piloted in the spring of this year, designed more as a training program with resources to help guide professionals along the path of learning these fundamental principles of zero energy building design and understanding how a design could be changed, or what elements you can tweak to meet the goals that you want to meet for energy efficiency and high performance. So the professionals program, I'll say right off the bat, is not a competition, but more of a program to train professionals, provide resources, and share ideas. So the goals of this program are to provide an opportunity to first develop this building science expertise. That comes through the first component of the program you see on the bottom of the screen, which is our building science education course. This is made available through our solardecathlon.gov website for anyone to view, but specifically for this program, those videos, those educational episodes, as we call them, are really laying the groundwork to develop that building science expertise. Through this program, there's also a zero energy design practicum. It's a chance to apply these skills and apply your knowledge to going through the design process and actually practicing these skills to gain that experience in designing a zero energy project. And then along the way, obviously, there's an opportunity at the end to earn these continuing education credits to show the progress that these professionals have made. Before we jump ahead, I'll just point out that there is a web page on our website, solardecathlon.gov/SDPro. There's a lot more information there, and I'll probably refer back to that a couple times here. But Amanda, if we can go to the next slide. So as I mentioned, we did a pilot of this program earlier this year. It was an 8-week program. We had about 10 participants, excuse me. And the format of this program is for the pilot at least, we asked participants to bring their own project, bring a project from their own professional portfolios that they had worked on or currently working on that had the basic design, some drawings, some specifications, and step through the various building systems and the elements of the design process to piece by piece make revisions and edits to the design to improve that building's design to the point that it would meet zero energy requirements. So there was a process of a self-paced building science education curriculum where the students or the participants went through each of our videos at their own pace to learn the knowledge and learn the skills that they would need to know to go through our series of narrative prompts and questions to challenge them to update this design, model the energy impacts of changing wall assemblies or changing HVAC systems or lighting designs, plug load strategies, things like that. And along the way, we also had weekly office hours with one of our NREL building science experts to help answer questions, provide feedback, kind of dive into the topic of that week, and just talk a little bit more with their participants about anything that they were having issues with. And so along the way, as I said, 9 participants completed the program with a full arc from the beginning of the design with the siting and orientation, the climate analysis for the building's location, all the way through each of the different building systems and design elements, to end with some real analysis, modeling, updated drawings and specifications for how that building that they brought to the project could have been designed a little bit differently to meet the zero energy design requirements. Next slide. And so I did kind of jump the gun and talk about this, but the program structure over the 8 weeks is really to step through the design process as you would with any design. So starting with high level planning, setting goals for the project. When you're bringing your own project to this program, there's an opportunity to go back to the very beginning and say, if we could change the way the site is designed, or the choice of which site to build on, or the orientation of the building on the site, and how the local climate impacts the site and the energy that's going to be required to operate that building. Those questions are a very important first step along this process before we even get into building envelope, lighting, plug loads, HVAC, renewable energy, and then finally reporting back on the energy performance through some energy simulations and modeling. With the pilot, we ended with more of a narrative written report that the participants provided. What we're seeing here is actually our design for the upcoming kind of second release of this program, which is going to be tweaked a little bit, where it's more of a presentation style, kind of along the lines of our collegiate solar decathlon, where the participants would present their design to their peers and to a panel of experts from national labs and elsewhere that will provide feedback and evaluate the design for its ability to meet the goals that were set out for them. Next slide. And so just some participant feedback here that you can read. But our pilot participants that went through this program really had some great feedback for us on their experience and how valuable they felt that this type of training program really was for them. It was more than just a webinar that they watched. It was more than just going through the building science education course. For a lot of them, it was the combination really of the building science education with an applied practicum element, and then with the office hours as well, to get some face time with one of our national lab experts to answer these questions, to talk one-on-one, to really dive into some of the details. All of that together as a holistic program is really something that I think resonated with the participants. And you can see here that one person, actually a few of them, but I think one of the quotes here talks about the interest that there was in kind of expanding the access to this program, trying to get more people at their firm to do it, so that these skills, this knowledge can be spread more widely through the industry of architects, engineers, and other building science and building professionals. Next slide. So these are just some screenshots to show an example of some of the content in the project submissions from our pilot, which I think just goes to show some of what I was already mentioning, that this isn't just a written narrative of what would I do to change the building. It's real design deliverables, it's real drawings, it's real energy modeling. This particular project ended up being a design that the participant had not yet built, but was working through the program to revise the design to make the building better, to help it meet zero energy. And so you can see here ceiling assemblies with insulation details, with building envelope details, design strategies around envelope and orientation and siting, and then some detailed energy modeling there too on the impacts of different design strategies. Next slide. And so the lessons that we learned and that our participants, I think, learned from the pilot that we're taking with us towards the future of this Solar Decathlon Professionals Program is the value of the balance between the self-paced building science education with some structure around weekly assignments or weekly presentations to a group, some checkpoints along the way with the organizers, encouraging but not requiring architects and engineers to partner together on projects and share their different perspectives. We learned that through the pilot, we had some architects, some engineers, and they knew where their strengths were, and they told us how they learned a lot about, what is sort of outside of their normal realm. Architects talked about through the building science education, how they learned some of the engineering principles, the engineering details that they don't typically work on. And similarly, the engineers were talking to us about how they were challenged to learn more about architectural design, the passive design strategies, things like that. And so, again, like I said, we're not requiring it, but encouraging architects and engineers to partner together, or at least share ideas together to kind of balance out and learn from each other along the way through this process. And then the last thing that we're going to provide in our next, sorry, if you could jump back, sorry. That final bullet there. The last thing that I think we learned that'll be really valuable for the upcoming iteration of the program is, in addition to allowing participants to sort of bring their own project, we'll also provide, as organizers, sort of a standardized project as a sort of a baseline design, as an option for participants who don't have the right project or don't have a project at all to bring to the program. That way, this, it opens it up to more participants who can use our baseline project to go through the same iterative process, the same step-by-step sequence to go through the design and make updates and changes along the way to help it meet zero energy. All right, next slide. So what's next? The next iteration of this program is coming in 2022. We're partnering with AIA to continue this program and to host it on their platform. And we're incorporating all these lessons that we learned from the pilot that I just talked about. We're also working to expand the building science education course. The curriculum for that course currently is very much focused on the fundamental principles of building science. And we want to add to that to talk a little bit more about kind of the next step, the design strategies, the application of the building science principles to designing a building. How do you use those skills and those principles to design a good building? We're also going to add to that curriculum to just add some other miscellaneous topics that get into some details that just were not covered in the first kind of the first version of the building science course. But by expanding this, we're just expanding the resources, expanding the knowledge, and sharing that as widely as we can. Next slide. Was that the end? Okay, well, so that's about the end. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, we're very happy to continue the conversation, to answer questions. You can contact us at solardecathlon@nrel.gov. You can follow us on social media. You can find us online. Again, a lot of great information on our website on all of the things we talked about today, the the collegiate program, the design partner program, the Solar Decathlon Professional Program. So we welcome questions and would love to talk with anyone who would like to connect with us. So thank you very much. And I think we can open it up for questions.
Thanks, Michael. I appreciate it, Amanda. I wanted to check if we have any online questions in the chat. We don't seem to have any right now. Does anybody have any questions? We'll give everyone a minute, but don't be bashful now.
All right, it's Thursday of the conference week.
Must have been a really good happy hour last night.
It must have been a great week. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, look at that. You know, so
They
just
definitely left them speechless, huh?
yes, they did. Yeah.
Yes, so.
You guys did an incredible job, though. I mean, really a beautiful presentation. And this program is going to be up on this Hoover app that we have for the online virtual community for the next 90 days. And then it's going to move on over to the EVA website. So we can continue to promote it. And certainly we're going to be talking about you guys in the Solar Decathlon all the time. I do anyway. It's amazing. I want to thank you so much for your time and your energy and your inspiration. And I guess, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with everyone?
Yeah, thank you for having us. And if you don't have any questions now, you can always reach out to us, but enjoy the rest of the summit and yeah, continue to be inspired.
Okay, great.
Thank you both. Fantastic session.
Thank you.
Thank you.